Today, Barack Obama rejected the Keystone XL pipeline proposal that would have imported about 800,000 barrels of Canadian oil a day, displacing 800,000 barrels of OPEC oil a day, mainly from Venezuela. Today, Obama chose Venezuela over Canada. When Obama was first running for president, he said it was one of his top priorities to get America off OPEC oil, and Venezuela's in particular. Here, take a listen.
I think that in 10 years, we can reduce our dependence so that we no longer have to import oil from the Middle East or Venezuela. I think that's about a realistic time frame. And this is the most important issue that our future economy is going to face.
Yeah, that was a lie. Obama prefers Venezuela to Canada, which is odd. Venezuelan oil is amongst the most carbon-intensive oil in the world, if you care about that sort of thing. It's actually heavier oil than the oil sands. And of course, it's conflict oil. Venezuela is an authoritarian regime, barely a democracy. It oppresses its own people and interferes and threatens its democratic neighbors. And of course, Venezuelan oil, like Saudi oil or Iranian oil that Obama's about to lift sanctions on, it doesn't create tens of thousands of construction jobs in the U.S. like the Keystone XL pipeline would have done. But Obama made his choice. He prefers oil from his enemies over oil from his friends. Take a listen.
The State Department has decided that the Keystone XL pipeline would not serve the national interests of the United States. Shipping dirtier crude oil into our country would not increase America's energy security. What has increased America's energy security is our strategy over the past several years to reduce our reliance on dirty fossil fuels from unstable parts of the world.
Well, of course, oil sands oil isn't dirty. They take the dirt out. But that's just code for global warming. But to say that global warming is the real reason why Obama canceled this pipeline is obviously false. The U.S. State Department has meticulously studied the pipeline again and again and again, and the oil sands, tens of thousands of pages of reviews, and they conclude that there will be no measurable environmental impact from the pipeline here at all. Obviously, it's just replacing OPEC oil with Canadian ethical oil. A lot of Canadian oil is coming into the States now anyways, especially by railway, including on the railway owned by Obama's close friend and donor, Warren Buffett. So Canadian oil will still come down, just not as safely as through a pipeline and not as much. Railways are a real bottleneck and they're much more expensive than a pipeline too. But it is simply not true that Obama has blocked Canadian oil for reasons of global warming, because the U.S. blocks no other product or service from no other country in the world for reasons of global warming. It doesn't block anything from China, by far the largest greenhouse gas emitter in the world. In addition to emitting the most real pollution too, Obama blocks nothing from China. Chinese goods stuff American stores. If you're wondering, the most intensive greenhouse gas emitters in the world per capita, that's the OPEC dictatorship of Qatar, which just happens to support the Islamic State terrorist group too. Obama doesn't block oil from them, either for their terrorist affiliations or for global warming reasons. This is not really about global warming or greenhouse gases. America does not put barriers for reasons of global warming. This is about politics. Obama and the Democrats raised literally hundreds of millions of dollars from global warming donors like Tom Steyer, San Francisco. Steyer personally pledged $100 million in donations if Obama blocked the Keystone XL pipeline, and look there, there's Obama at Steyer's house for a fundraiser. That's the reason, not science. This is about getting massive donations and getting massive volunteer support from left-wing groups like the Tides Foundation and the Rockefeller Brothers Fund, who are against Canadian oil, but never seem to raise a finger against OPEC oil. One more point. I note that Obama has had this Keystone XL pipeline decision on his desk for about 6 years, since really he became president. He delayed and he delayed, but he never killed it. I note that he killed it less than 3 weeks after Justin Trudeau was elected Canada's Prime Minister. Now, Trudeau actually said he supported the Keystone XL pipeline. It was the only pipeline he said he supported for whatever reason. He said that Obama didn't approve it because our former Prime Minister, Stephen Harper, was so bad at diplomacy, and Trudeau would be much more suave. In fact, half of Trudeau's campaign strategists were borrowed from Obama's own campaign team. After his election, every Obama strategist from David Axelrod down was rooting and cheering for Trudeau. But then, in his very first phone call with Obama, Justin Trudeau blurted out that he was going to pull out our CF-18s from the multinational combat force against the Islamic State. Now, the U.S. ambassador did something very rare. He publicly pleaded with Trudeau to reconsider. He hit the media circuit. Well, Trudeau did not reconsider. So Obama had nothing to lose. Obama was mistreating Canada already by delaying his decision on Keystone XL assertedly, but at least he had enough respect for Canada, his military ally in Afghanistan and now in Iraq, not to block the pipeline. But Trudeau's first move was to slap Obama in the face over the Islamic State. This is Obama slapping back. And you know what? Neither leader cares. Obama's happy with his OPEC friends and happy with his donors. And Trudeau, well, he's made it clear that he opposes the oil sands and pipelines. This just gives him an excuse for shrugging and saying, well, what can I do? 40,000 American construction workers have just had their job vaporized today. 100,000 Canadian oil sands workers have had yet another setback. But Vladimir Putin and King Abdullah of Saudi Arabia, yeah, best day ever. For TheRebel.media, I'm Ezra Levant.